The multi-tool has a screwdriver, pliers and wire cutters and lockpick tools and corkscrew, tin opener, small hook, scissors, tweezers, saw blade, safe knife, as it's going to be trying to integrate that.
I don't think that's possible, so no.
It technically is possible, but keep in mind, as I said, the knife would be completely useless afterwards.
But it does not stab people?
It will not do harm to people. It'll count as blunt object when you hit people with it.
All right. Put that on, and I want to make that the only part which isn't locked by dexterity. So anyone can open up that part.
That's actually very smart. Instantly in my mind as the DM, it was just flashing how many enemies might actually fall for this.
The Chico is just curious if this is going to be another sex toy.
And Cinder.
Bring the body back down, check on everybody, look over the body, just to really see what type of mutations were happening.
You understand that the mutations hint at there being traces of animal behavior and even animal instincts, developments that directly tie to your veterinary knowledge that couldn't have been normal developments of just human genes.
Interesting. Cinder will say as much to Sachiko. Cinder will, just kind of take Alice off and start to train. We'll work on some speed. Left is gonna go ahead and fix food for everybody.
Sachiko.
Study Logan's corpse, have an overview of him, and also where are his eyes?
That's the real question.
Similar in formation to a jumping spider, however, torso up to the top of the ears, 6 different small eyes, 2 of them on the ears, 2 of them under the jaw and the jowls, 2 of them on the shoulders. And the strangest thing for you seems to be how it has adapted to the world around him. Specifically, it has evolved tendrils that seem to have grown into the headset for the virtual reality experience that the body died in order to fuel itself further and further with electricity, going past the safety measures. And perhaps if you were to study the wires, you might find some very thin growth all the way to the electric plug of the device.
Maybe I should dissect the body to get the answer to this one, but is it possible to use whatever organ it used to use for electricity now in a useful way for us too?
You think it actually has a nervous system built pretty much like wires. And yes, you could extract those and use them as very strange building material, because at the very core of it, it won't decay.
So Sachiko will spend however time necessary to distract the nervous system and then give it to Artemis because he would know what to do with it.
All right, Artemis. So your multi-tool is done.
Lovely. Go to the computer and look at the hack attempt.
All right, wonderful. So within the computer, there seems to be much more than was on the paper printout. So you think that since the printout of the paper, that with your forensic skills, seems to date back to when the first generation of the family came out of the pods. It seems to have had more hack attempts even since then, this same computer. A multitude of things. We're trying to constantly get into this computer and hack it. And Noel, will you be helping Artemis on this? Will you be watching what Artemis does as well?
Yeah, I'll help.
You see one that seems confusing, the very first hack attempt that's done, and it was a multitude of hack attempts, some of them succeeding, some of them failing. You can't understand where it's coming from, but Noel would be able to tell you that this is a technique where they use multiple computers that have been infected to all attempt to hack yours in order not to be able to trace back to the original hacker. So from multiple centers, there have been hack attempts to gain access to the pods, to the PC, and to infect the PC to infect other PCs as well. Accessing the pods was a success. Accessing the PC was a fail, which means they wouldn't be able to set the measures for correct creation of different characters. So, meaning that the pods would be activated, doesn't have the right orders, and might act buggy, as it might have been doing so with the family. Third one, again success, which is this PC started to infect other PCs and started to attempt to hack other ones. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Artemis, with your background and what you investigated, you think all of these centers that hacked this computer and all of the centers that this computer then attempted to hack are all variant pod chambers. So something has been hitting hack attempts onto all different variant computers with the attempt to activate the pods. This might as well have been how you, as Arthur Schweinenjäger and the rest of your party, came out of the pods. The initial place you guys came out of the pods also then attempted to infect this computer.
Interesting. Is there any indication if it was the hack attempt which got Noel here as well?
There is indications that it's not the hack attempts that got any of you here.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, that seems to be from another place. With how Noel's help with navigating the computer helps you, you can do the second one in the same round together with him as well. The second one seems to be from the computer belonging to the marking on the map that is for Theodore, and attempted to hack the camera and the pods. It succeeded in hacking the cameras exactly at the time that the father seemed to look paranoid, Norman Trament, at the cameras when he came out of the pods. However, Theodore failed to hack the pods.
I see.
Just as a note to players, Sachiko had discovered they were working most on where Theodore's house was when they were making the map together with the butler. For now, we shall move on to Cinder Trio, the Trinity of Cinder.
Cinder will, after seeing Sachiko's 200 IQ, will just say, "You're a fucking genius, Sachiko. That's awesome."
The Chico will reply, "Whoa," just to dispel the rumors that she's intelligent.
Cinder, seeing that everything is okay, is going to just quietly go upstairs and just listen to the first floor to see if she can hear any movement or, struggles or anything of that nature.
All right. And left would know that food is ready if she wants to call to others. Up to you.
Yeah, she will, just kind of pop her head out and say, "Hey, food's on whenever you guys need it."
And Cinder Center. You give a listen for any conflict going on. You not only hear some sounds of screaming and such, and presumably conflict and perhaps even a car crash, but you also quickly realize, despite how realistic and how good the technology is, that it's an entertainment station that's running and is playing perhaps a movie. All of these coming from first floor dining room.
And that's one that we could peek our head up on, correct?
Yes. You could see the dining room, but yeah, it's that general area. So it might be, you guess, because you have the maps, that the entertainment station is from the living room, because that's usually where they're placed.
I can't get up there by myself. Cinder will go back for another Cinder.
Sachiko.
Is it possible that the cat is Kevin or the mother?
I mean, anything's possible.
Maybe Kevin Logan decided to protect himself by appearing like a cat to Emilia, and she treated him like a pet.
If that's the case, I'll be really impressed.
Because it's like you guys poked your head into the place that Kevin Logan wanted you to, and the first thing you saw was the cat.
With all that protective skin.
Yeah.
Now, here's one detail, though, that you might be missing, and that is that unlike what you would expect from a Kevin monster, in that case, if it is a Kevin monster, it was getting you to go away from it then afterwards, because it seemed everything was leading people to go outside. The rest of the path that they couldn't follow always led to the outside.
Is it Cinder Center who's coming down?
Yes.
Sachiko will addressed her and says, I want to go upstairs soon. Will you tag along?
Yeah, actually, I was just gonna go get left and go back upstairs. There's a TV station running on the first floor.
Succ says, I just have to have a small talk with Artemis before we do this. Of course, if you want, I will join you later.
I can wait for you guys.
Thank you. She will take the nerves to Artemis and says, here, I have some things for you that you might find useful.
It seems to be almost like some synthetic, very fine woven material, almost like silk, that you could weave in different formations. But it's as conductive as like a fucking extension cord and can pass just a shitload of voltage just through that super thin material and conduct.
So it's not gross then?
As gross as a hair monster could be because it's thin as hair.
You'll lose a little bit of morale.
And one thing, Noel, you think you could weave something like cloth, and if plugged into the right amount of power with the electromagnetic fields that it creates, you think it could be one hell of a jamming device.
Well, I will tell Artemis this. It's important information.
I will tell Sachiko this.
Basically, what Succ was going to go upstairs for, now she doesn't need to go upstairs for.
Well, you certainly don't need power stations and workstations and power tools, but this is a very fine material, very rare material that you could use for this purpose. Again, up to you guys.
Succ first is a little bit annoyed that Artemis is grossed out by the thing that she thought would make him amiable toward her. But then she quickly gets over it and she says, oh my god, please make that, please.
He's just nodding and looking back and forth between Noel and Sachiko, doing a smug nod. Like, mm-hmm.
And do you need anything else for me to collect so that you can make that?
A cup of tea would be nice.
Alright. Succ turns to Cinder and said, sorry honey, change of plan. I need to go fetch a tea for Mr. Genius here, without whom we would never survive. Oh my god, I'm so happy that he is here.
What?
Because Kristen got disconnected and came back, it's literally as if Cinder just dropped in on this.
Yeah, it is.
It's perfect. It helps her with the RP. So it should be noted, such a thing could be made when they find power tools anyway, but it could also be made quicker and right now, just using this thread.
For the next round, Succ will first throw what has remained from Logan's body into the fridge, and then I would make tea in the kitchen for Artemis.
Alright, perfect then.
Can Succ eat while she's making tea?
Sure.
Also, Succ normally makes tea in the Japanese fashion. She's trying to make it the British fashion. And for the first time, she's thinking to herself, how come Artemis has a British accent?
Sin Left is in there just kind of tapping her foot, eating, waiting for anybody to come in.
Sachiko, tea is done. Cinder, the food is finished. Artemis and Noel, after we skip about 30 minutes of all of this, not only is the invention you guys were making done, but also there's a slight buzzing sound coming from the floor above in the boiler room. Kind of like a bad speaker, broken speaker. Very treble sound.
Well, we found Laura. Cinder left and Center will gear up and kind of let everybody know. Get ready to go up quietly.
She asks, do you want me to scout ahead and come back and tell you what I see?
Absolutely, just be careful. And he'll take a sip on his tea without burning his mouth.
I like how you put that there. It's like the DM is evil. He's gonna give me disadvantages for not telling him. It's like he's gonna throw a reckless dice for my tea drinking.
And then he says, "You from now you have to speak like."
We become Arthur again, yeah.
My tongue.
So Suchiko uses sneak to just go up and take a peek at what's happening in the boiler room, but not actually enter it.
All right, and I'm guessing the Cinders will be going with Suchiko.
Yes, we will allow Suchiko to lead, however.
One of the very first things you realize in the boiler room is that the sound is echoing out into this room and through the vent because of just how this place is structured. And it's coming from around the shower, the one working intercom. You, Cinder, with your hearing, you think it's probably the sounds of someone speaking, almost the same way a radio host would speak. But this intercom is so damaged that it just can be heard so badly and distorted.
Cinder will let Suchiko know.
I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this, but just, you know that this could be another hallucination, right?
It absolutely could be. It could also absolutely be real.
Alright, so let's go together, but let's agree that we will bail immediately if we start hallucinating about people raping people or shit.
Yeah, and let's all pick an item that we can focus on to should something happen.
Oh wow, that's such a great idea.
Suchiko says, I haven't found my Pikachu keychain.
I mean, Suchiko will have put something in our path eventually.
Suchiko chooses to use Nadia as that object.
It's like you see the two Cinders armed to the teeth wearing their vests, and then you see Suchiko to the side bzzz, holding the dildo.
It's not on though.
I know, but it was better for the joke for it to be on.
Yeah.
I will use my weapons as my point.
All right. You guys venture forward. You again notice that the pile of shit has new blood on it that Artemis had noticed as well. Not anymore new, but seemingly from when you guys were asleep or a little bit after. And then, as you go closer, the closer you get, the more it sounds like it's human speaking. And the sound is coming from yet another intercom. Someone has their mouth very close to the microphone. And with this distorted speaker, you can't hear what they're saying. It sounds like a male voice, however.
So if Suchiko is hearing a muffled voice, she will turn to Cinder and say, does that sound like someone being raped to you?
No, honey. Sounds like a male voice that's in another room upstairs.
That doesn't sound very scary.
No, it could be a call for help.
Artemis and Noel.
Artemis is trying to think if him and Noel can make anything to help with someone getting grounded if they do actually start tripping while in it, at the very least to preserve the helmet, if nothing else.
I don't think we could add anything to the hat to make it calm someone down. Unless we add some chill beats
Yeah.
to study or relax.
Yeah.
Does it have a turn on and off switch?
No. Every time you try to turn it off, it gets louder.
The jamming itself. It would make finding Kevin easier. You can just go up, and when the things get really tricky, you can turn the jamming thing on.
It's not a bad idea at all, actually.
That is very good. The hat is ready.
Lovely.
And do you want to continue the hack attempts, by the way?
Yes.
So, after Theodore, you see from multiple centers the same thing. So the same driving force that got multiple centers to hack through different things. It again attempts to hack the pods, the PC, and other PCs. This time, all of those failed. So one time it succeeded, but this time it failed completely. Then there's another hack attempt from where Shaheen on the map, the very famous journalist, house would be. There was an attempt on the pods and it was failed. And further on, center 334, which is exactly your center, and where the you, Sachiko, and Sender were uploaded from, that's what this one is. And it was a success. It tried to access the pods. You can see that it uploaded Sachiko, you, Alice, and Sender. Then, shortly after, there is one from the doorway. Someone hacked from the doorway intercom, accessed the pods, success. And that's where Noel comes in.
Artemis would look at Noel and be like, do you have any idea what's going on with why you ended up here?
Not in particular, no.
Isn't John with Noel from the doorway?
Nope, only Noel. And the unknown that hacked the pods and uploaded Johnny Boy, that one is a moving computer from what Noel would know. Something portable.